following is a presentation of TFNN. The Trader's Edge with Steve Rhodes. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good afternoon from TFNN. Welcome to the November 10th. Fantastic Friday edition of today's Trader's Edge show. I'm your host, Stevie Perseverance Rhodes, who absolutely knows that each of us should always be pioneers of our future versus prisoners of our past. Hope everyone out there is having a great day. Let's make sure we have an extraordinary one. And of course, the easiest way to do that, it's to always remember that life happens for us, not to us. That's right. When you and I make that one little 2x4 shift, it means we can find the gift in every set of circumstance that life is going to toss at us. Today, you and I, we get to go check out the circumstance of these markets. We get to go figure out what the bulls and the bears, what the buyers and the sellers are communicating to you and I just past 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I want you to know I'm absolutely grateful for your presence here, and more importantly, I'm here to serve you. So feel free to pick up that phone. Dial on in, 877-927-6648. Of course, if you can't dial in, let your fingers do the walking. You can always send me an email, steve@tfnn.com. Inside that subject heading, please put radio show question. And, of course, well, inside the Tiger's Den, just about any ping will do. So let's go ahead and get this show started on fabulous Friday. Of course, this is Tiger Financial News Network. I'm Steve Rhodes. Welcome to the show. Right now, the Dow trading off 61 points, 23,400 is what she's printing at. S&P down 6, NASDAQ 100 down about 15 points, about 0.25% to the downside. Russell 2000 is flat. Semis are up 5 points, about 0.4% to the upside. Gold is transports are down 0.3%, 26 bucks. Gold is off 11, silver's off 10 cents. Light sweet crude down 42 cents. Moving the markets to the upside, individual stock wise, it's ICU Medical. That's up $17 or 9%. Nvidia up 6%, 11 bucks and change. Coherent up 12 button near 11.50. Arista Networks up 6. Roku up 6. Mercado Libre up about $4.60. To the downside, you got Puma Biotech down 20 bucks, 16%. Esterline Technologies down 21% or $18. AutoZone down 10. Penumbra down 9 bucks. The Trade Desk off 8.50. So we can always go take a look at those stocks. Of course, I want to look at what you want to look at. The first request that was out there was, how about a sell-off into the close? Well, let's go take a look at what the markets are doing and areas to watch. Now, by sell-off and the markets, which market is it that you were referring to? Who wrote that in there? Dano. Let's go take a look at the S&P 500. Let's go ahead and we'll utilize as a proxy the S&P 500 for the markets selling off. So let's start by taking a look at the S&P 500. If we take a look at what it's done thus far, probably Basil, I would have thought, perhaps covered this. I didn't get a chance to listen to the show, but here's what we know about the S&P 500. Number one, price was, well, he wouldn't have gone over this necessarily, but price was moving higher, doing less relative energy. That was as of about 4 days ago. You see that black diagonal line on my screen. But at the same time that it was doing that, it did enter wave number 7. Wave number 7, in this case here, letter G on my screen, because the numbers on these charts are taking a look at Tom DeMark counts out here. So you've got the 7th wave move up at the high. You had price moving higher, doing less relative energy. We really haven't seen a bearish reversal candle yet. Yeah, well, I take that back. How dare you say that, Steve-O? We did have a reversal candle, and that was the key reversal candle that took place. Let's just go ahead and enlarge on that screen, get my crosshair out here. That actually took place on November 7th. Now, a key reversal session, many people just simply don't utilize the technical definition of a key reversal. You need 3 things. And you've got to have all 3 at the same time. Number 1, you have to have a market that's in an extended condition. Number two, you have to have the prior day's high and low exceeded. That's where people will take a look at any candle along the path here and take a look at the high and low of the prior day was exceeded and then call that a key reversal. Nah, that's not how it works out there. And the third element that you need, you just need to see one tick in the opposite direction of the trend. So you see we've got a red-bodied candle on this. So you had key reversal, price moving higher, doing less relative energy, and you had wave number 7. So you do have a confirmed top. Now, let's say that the market continues to sell off, Daniel, which I believe that it will. I believe it'll end up lower. Whether it sells off at the end of the day, we'd really have to go take a look at some intraday charts here. But I do believe the message of the market right now is that it's going to go ahead and close lower. If it does that, we are seeing a retracement. Don't know whether it turns into a correction, meaning a 10%er, but we are seeing a retracement unfold. Inside the S&P 500, the cash indice, the price level that I'd be watching for is Stevie's red dashed line. And that's about 25.45 or so. But I wouldn't rely upon that number. Although it's a good number out here, I'd really be watching what's going on inside the equity futures markets. So that's the message of the S&P 500. If I take a look at the combo out here, the combo being the S&P 500 and the spot volatility index out here, as long as the spot VIX index closes above 1035 right now, I believe this morning it might have been 1032, anything above 1035 goes ahead and suggests that that continued sell-off or that continued retracement in the S&P 500 should unfold. That's the 50-day exponential moving average spot volatility index. That's where you can see the most damage done with regard to retracement. You don't have to, but we're seeing a slight move lower. So you have those confirming signals inside of the S&P and then inside the spot volatility index. But you know what? This may be more of a rotation that is going on. So don't get your hopes up too high just yet. If you want to get your hopes up higher, though, what you're going to need to see is you're going to need to see this chart here flip bearish. And oh boy, are we close. You take a look at the green line. Now, this is brought to us by our good friends John Logan over at Taz Market Profiles. And in this case here, this tool measures the market breadth of the S&P 500 individual stocks. Takes a look at the green line, representing how many stocks are above the top of a box. Once you're above the top of a box, you're going to consider that to be bullish sentiment. And when you are below the bottom of a box or a market profile, bearish sentiment. When you have those crossovers, we haven't had a crossover for quite some time, the early part of September, and that was a bullish crossover. We could be getting a bearish crossover. We could get it by the end of the day. Right now, it's almost even Steven. Almost. Because you have 157 individual stocks trading above the top of their box and 150 below the bottom. It's getting close out there. If you really want to see a continued retracement inside the market, you really want to see this market breadth flip to the bearish sentiment side. We're not there just yet. What else is it that we need to take a look at? Well, I would say we want to go take a look at the market profile themselves on the ES Mini. So how about when we come back from this break, we'll go do that. Then we'll go take a look at the stocks for Gator, who's looking for an entry point in there. We'll talk about, if you remind me, the rotation that's going on and which sector inside the S&P looks mucho bueno. That's not very good, but it looks very good. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Steve takes your phone calls. Now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
So if we take this step by step, because that's really about the only way that you can take the market and then truly identify what the message is, or at least I believe that's one of the best ways to do it. So we go over and we take a look at our daily profiles. Now, here we're taking a look at our 4 equity futures contracts. ES is the left-hand panel. NQ is that next to it on the right. And you've got the Dow YM, which is panel number 3. And in the very right corner is the Russell 2000. Now, these are the daily profiles. What's interesting for you and I today is that we've had 2 new daily profiles that have formed. Somebody's not seeing my charts. My charts are up. Guys in the den, maybe give me a high sign or a low sign, a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And I'm sure that inside the room, they're trying to, inside production, they're trying to make sure that the charts are up. But on the very left-hand panel, you're going to see that the ES Mini formed a brand new TAS market profile today. If you take a look at panel number 3, the YM, it formed a brand new daily profile yesterday. Now, the cool thing about these market profiles is they provide you and I with new parameters of where the snipers are at. That would be the top of the box, and really where the bulldozers are at, and that would be at the bottom of the box. Now, sometimes the bulldozers are real dozers out here, not dozing and falling asleep, but getting ready to trample those that are trying to sell. Now, if we take a look at the daily S&P 500, or the ES Mini in this case here, you're going to see that this profile, you are an experienced aficionado of these TAS market profiles. Now, you know when you take a look at that profile, the very first thing your eyes are glued on is you're saying, hey, Steve-O, where's the center of that box? In this case here, it's the cyan-colored line. In fact, for those of you that can't see it that well, you're watching it in your phone, if we do this, which is we turn price off, because we can turn price off and know exactly what the meaning of this new profile is, right? You can clearly see how much closer that center line is to the bottom of the box. And so what does that tell us in this very bullish market out here? That tells us that the bulldozers are hanging out of that 2568 level, maybe a couple of ticks, 2-3 ticks out there. We'll just call it 2568. And that should be a excellent area of support. If you were to see a close below that, the snipers have overrun. They've taken out some of those bulldozers out here, and that then would suggest, Dano, who's looking for a sell-off going into the close. I think Dano's just really looking for a sell-off period. That's when you would get it, when a level of support, which would be the 2568 area, if it were to fail. That's really important. You can see the last profile on the ES Mini was also slightly bullishly biased out there because the center was closer to the bottom. But now what we're talking about is we have a very clear box. That does say 2591, and one tick out there is a resistance level. So if price gets up there, you know that snipers will be out there. Now, today, we have seen that the low, by the way, the low of the day has been right around that 2568 area, 2569. Let's actually get the exact number for you. I don't want to just give you estimates. The low is 2571.50. So this area is support, and you want to go ahead and respect it. Now, in the case of the YEM, the Dow, well, what do we know about the NQ? Today's push down in the NQ found support at the top of the box. Now, that box itself was also a bullish structured box. Price got above that area. Yesterday, we saw a push down inside that box, but by day's end, that area held the support. That area being 62.84.50. Today has been a test of the 62.84.50. It actually got down to 62.81. Prices above it. Support has held. Support has set. Now, the real support inside the NQ is 61.75. But when old resistance becomes new support, hey, that is telling you something out here. So bullish in the NQ, bullish in the ES. The Dow equity futures contracts, as we speak right now, is trading below the bottom of its box. Just by a thin hair. 23,384's number here, 23,367. So watch that area. The Dow may be giving you a signal. Now, in the case of the Russell 2000, she broke through it. She cracked through it a few days ago. Wide-ranging bar. But you know what that says? Once you break one level of support, well, where's the next? Well, inside the equity futures contracts, we just simply step up our game and go to one level higher. And that's on the weekly chart. Now, in the case of the ES Mini, it's not a bearish reversal candle today. I know we're just taking a look at bar charts out there, and you can't really figure that out perhaps by looking at it, but you'll just have to trust me. If we take a look at the NQ, there is nothing bearish on the weekly chart here. If we take a look at the Dow, well, on a weekly basis, if we close lower this week, this would be a key reversal session from a weekly chart out here. And inside the Russell 2000, if you were wondering why it was just maybe slightly green today, well, if we go over and take a look at the weekly chart for the equity futures contract, voila, there's your reason. Because price is trading right at the bottom of its TAS market profile. That level, by the way, is the 1472 area. You would need to see a close below that. You're at 1473.50 to suggest that a change in trend is underway. Otherwise, we really just have kind of your normal retracement testing areas of support inside of the market, with market breadth that still is bullish on the S&P, still is bullish on the NASDAQ. So I mentioned that there's, maybe there's just rotation that is going on inside of the S&P 500. And the charts that show that rotation, perhaps the best chart out there, is one would want to be or consider being overweight the XLP, the consumer discretionary. Now you might say, XLP, what in the Sam heck is that? Well, that is made up of I don't know how many issues out there, but I can tell you that the top, I'll tell you the top issues. Procter & Gamble. We've got one of our listeners that's out in Chicago. I think it's Robert in Chicago. We always like to take a look at Procter & Gamble. I'm not looking at the Procter & Gamble chart, but we are taking a look at the XLP. But you got Coca-Cola, Pepsi. You've got Philip Morris. You've got Altria, Walmart, Costco, CVS, Colgate, Palmolive, and Mondelez to round out, I think, probably about the top 10 out there. But if we take a look at the patterns that you love to trade out here, the first one is that lightning bolt, the A to B equals CD to the downside, and that completed. Let me get the cursor out here. That completed with this key reversal session, right? Extended. We will always use as extended the completion of a D point of an A to B equals CD. Well, we got that on November 7th. You had the high and low exceeded from the prior day. You finished in the opposite, you had at least one tick. Well, in this case here was a bullish engulfing candle, so it was way more than one tick in the opposite direction. So you have a key reversal bullish engulfing session. What we have seen since then is we've seen kind of an explosion inside this. So if you're wondering, where is it that money managers are rotating into, it is very clear that it's inside the XLP. Now, the question's going to be, and like with every Gartley, and this basically, I don't know, is it a Gartley pattern out here? I don't know if it is or it isn't. Yeah, in fact, you probably have two A to B equals CD patterns out here. We have, let's see if we have the larger one out here. Just take a moment, and I'm just spitballing. Yeah, you've got two A to B equals CD patterns that completed inside the XLP. So this looks like it's headed higher, even if the S&P 500 decides to continue moving lower. There is the great rotation. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll go check out the emails, see if there's any requests out there. But we're firing up the request line. So give us a call, send us an email, or give me a ping. We'll be right back.
In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. So we had a request inside the Tiger's Den to go take a look at the SMH, the semiconductor ETF. And the question was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was you're looking for a buy point out here. So let's look to the daily chart. Well, first, if I go take a look at Stevie's top formation charts out here, I don't really have a topping pattern per se. I mean, I can squeeze out certainly an A to B equals CD. That's interesting. pattern out here, it would look something like this, and you're at the 1 to 2.618, A to B equals CD pattern out here. But I'm not going to put a whole lot of stock in that. Yes, yesterday you had a, whoops, what the heck is going on? Stop that. There we go. You had a very large sell-off. You had a nice big old bearish engulfing candle. I mean, it took back, and this is sometimes the way that this little booger operates, in that it took back basically the movement over the past 2, 4, 5 days out here. If I put the weekly chart, though, and we look at the weekly chart for the SMH, it really puts it in perspective, and that no big deal. So you take a look at what happened on one day, and then all of a sudden you're going to say, oh, my gosh, this thing has gone to hell in a handbasket. Can I say that? Well, I just did. But if you look at the weekly chart and you say, well, what have the SMHs really done for the week? You're going to say, that does not look like hell in a handbasket. That just looks like a normal move, basically sideways to just slowly lower. Now, if price were threatening Stevie's red line, 99.01, that would be a different story out here. But that is not the case. So with regard to the SMHs, here's what I can share with you, Gator. If we take a look at the daily chart, because you're looking at now it doesn't mean that yesterday's candle doesn't mean anything, but it does. But today's session inside of the CTF, the cool thing here is that we can go ahead and turn off price, and you're going to see the formation of a brand new TAS market profile. And that profile has actually got a bullish structure. So your entry point here is anywhere between 100.90 and 101.68, the bottom or the center of the box out here. If price blows through 104.40, you know that you have momentum going to the upside. That's where the snipers are. If you were to see it close below 100.90, then that says to us there's something else that is going on, because that's a level of support that should hold. We're not even looking at price. We're just looking at the market profiles, and you can see that we have not seen a close below the bottom of a TAS market profile, well, really since June 27th. This is the daily chart that we're looking at. So if you were to see that, it just says there may be trouble in River City. And River City, in this case here, would be the 99.01 level. So risk management, trade management says, hey, I would take a look at the 100.90. But if you really want to get in on it, then right now is the time to fire away at some of it, and then consider closing out that trade to say, okay, something else has happened here if you were to see it close below 100.90. We've got Ron on the line from Denver. Ron, thanks for calling. Thanks for holding. How are you today?
Very nice, Steve. Thank you very much for taking the call. I was just watching, and I saw gold dropped about $10 all of a sudden, about an hour ago. What happened? Do you know, or what, or why?
Yes, no, I don't. I can put it in perspective, though. I mean, it was a large block sale that took place. No way for me to know, or any of us really to know if it was if there was something to it, if it was computer. Here's what we do know, though. That move lower was really no big deal as far as gold at the moment. Gold has been trading in a range for the last several weeks. If we take a look at the weekly chart out here, so for the last 3 weeks specifically, gold has been trading between the center of its weekly market profile. Ron, that price is $12.84. Yes, it can go slightly above it, but basically it's been trading in the range of $12.84 to $12.81. $12.61. I got to get glasses out here. But that's a narrow range on a $1,200 instrument. You're talking about 20 some odd bucks, $25. Gold doesn't have a problem until it closes below this 1261.70 level out here. Then there is a change in trend that would be underway, maybe a more intermediate term change in trend. There's a daily profile. And these profiles, Ron, what's great about them is they really allow us to know where the battle lines are drawn. And on the daily chart, you can see that there was a new box that formed out here. This was back on October 31st, so trick or treat. This was a treat because it gave you the elements of where resistance was, 1287.10 on a closing basis, and support 1269.60. So yes, there was a large sell-off, $10, a lot of contracts, no denying that, but there was a seller and there was a buyer at these price levels, and price is just rotating in between this range out here. So I wouldn't read anything more into it at the moment until we were to see levels of support broken and close below. That's my take on what transpired. We don't really need to know what occurred for that big drop in that short period of time.
Thank you very much. I had one more request if you have time.
Yeah.
Some calls Friday on Myogen, MYGN. It
Okay,
dropped
so let's
from
go.
32 to 29. It's one of these DNA mapping.
Okay.
Had some trouble with.
And the call.
What would be a near-term target that I should shoot for on options?
Okay, so let's go MYGN. So and you bought these just a couple of days ago?
I bought them Friday, 29, and it made a big move there, about $3.50, and I missed it. I was tied up in traffic, and anyway, I think it was a couple of days ago. It made a big move and it pulled back, but I guess that would probably be my target again.
So what I would be looking at here, here's what I would be looking for, and that is that you'd really like to see price. I'm going to put this chart up on our screen out here, and the number you would like to see price close above. It was tested 2 days ago. Is 31.89. Now it was tested when it got up to the 33 level, but by the end of the session it had pulled back. And see what we have going on inside of MYG, and what is that? Myriad Genetics out here. My concern is that the bottom portion of my screen, Ron, is what's referred to as a price oscillator. It measures the difference between two exponential moving averages. In this case here, it happens to be the 19 and the 39-day exponential moving average. When that price oscillator gets down to the zero line, what it often does, it tells us price is going to stall. And we're going to see my little red line area, that's also referred to as the oscillator unchanged line. We're going to see price catch up to that red line. And the real message of the markets is what happens when price tags that red line area. For an equity that has moved lower and moves back up into it, does it find resistance? And if it does, what it's communicating to us is it's very dangerous, because we then have a falling price oscillator below zero. And 3 trading sessions ago, when this punched up into it, could have easily cleared the red line. It didn't, and price pulled back even further. That doesn't mean that it won't continue to move higher. The next test is going to be that red line, or should be that red line area of 31.89. What you really want to see is you really want to see price close above that. If it can close above 31.89, then I would provide you with a price target of probably 35.68 out there. All right, my friend?
Fantastic. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks so much for calling. That was Ron in Denver. We want to hear from you as well. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. Dow's off 50, S&P is down 4, and I don't have any questions that are in here, and we've kind of covered the markets for the most part. And somebody had written in yesterday asking me about Napa Valley, because I was out there a week ago today. That's where I was in Napa, and so some questions. Now there were some really cool stories. Now before I got out there, I don't know about you, but the coverage in Southeast Florida, basically you would have thought the entire place was burning down. Here are many of the photos from the Napa Valley area. Now, the very first vineyard that I was supposed to go to is called Signorello. Now, Signorello Vineyards, very cool place. If you've never been out there, of course, they're no longer there. They burnt down totally to the ground. Now, he makes some amazing wines that typically you can't find anywhere in retail. And I had on order waiting for me to pick those up at that facility. And so I thought, oh, man, maybe I need to actually change my plans out there. But as it turns out, I called out there, and they said, no, come on out. A couple of the vineyards that I was going to visit. So I really got some of the stories, because the vineyard tours that I do are basically private. So you're there with, in this case here, one of them was the winemaker, and the winemaker for David Abreu, a guy named Brad Grimes. Very cool guy. And if you don't know David Abreu, or you're not familiar with the name, you're familiar and if you have the money, you should buy some of his wines. It's all done by hand. It's a very limited supply. I mean, typically he's got 4 different areas or vineyards that for his own purpose that he uses on 4 different mountaintops, basically. But you're looking at about 3,000 bottles a year, give or take, out there, each one being serialized. And he does everything by hand. Very, very cool wines, unfortunately expensive. But and I spent a good deal of time with Brad while I was out there. And he told me the story. Now, where their wine is stored, they had already done their harvest. Now, the fire kicked up on Sunday, and they had just a few more grapes to pull off the vine. So they got everybody out there to do that, get them hauled back in. And they have this little cave where everything is kept. And he actually stayed in the cave. He got his family out, which his family was not that far down the street, but he got them the heck out of there. And he stayed inside this cave. Now, they lost power out there. He had to make sure that the AC units were turned off anyways, because the ventilation, he didn't want to be pulling the smoke down in there. He actually, at one point in time, thought he would try to leave and head out and try to get some more supplies, because his house was still standing. And the police said, if you go past this barricade, we will not allow you to go back. So he went back and stayed there. But what I didn't know, because the place where I was staying is, for those of you that have been out there, the Meadowood Hotel, which is a very cool place to stay if you can go out there. And Meadowood had closed down. So I wasn't certain if really we were still going to go out there. Well, what I found out was, so now there's very cool restaurants. Many Michelin star restaurants are actually in Napa. Most of you are familiar with the French Laundry out there. Well, what actually happened, because you heard about people pitching in and, and delivering food to these firefighters. I mean, God bless these guys. These guys were working 24 hours. Well, the reason now Meadowood is owned by. So I spent time with Brad Grimes from a brew, and a brew also. He's like one of the premier vintners out there. He manages or has planted most of the vines out there for companies that have 100-point wines. I mean, Bill Harlan is the guy who's the other vineyard that I spent time with. Promontory is a brand new vineyard out there. Most of you will not have heard that, but it is a really cool winery and a very cool wine and a very cool experience. And the guy who owns that, Bill Harlan. Now, he's really well known out there over the last 20 years or so. He's got some of the most impressive wines that you could taste. Unaffordable, but if you can taste them, don't pass it up. Well, Bill went ahead and he bought Meadowood. And what he did was they shut Meadowood down. Yeah, they kind of had to anyways, right? But not only they had to get guests out of there, but not only did he shut it down, he opened it up, and that's where many of the firefighters were staying. Now, he himself has got a 3 Michelin star restaurant on the property, and he's got great wine. Did I tell you he's got great wine. And so they were feeding and providing nourishment. I mean, all kinds of nourishment, just as the guys from French Laundry, just as all of the really good restaurants out there, they were providing, housing in this, basically is a 5-star resort, and others around there, and that's what they were doing. So, and when you heard that story, I did not know that story till I was out there and really spent time with Brad to really get a lay of the land of what really happened. Now, you do see burned out upper mountainous areas and some vineyards, like I say, Signorella burned down, to a crisp, but you do see areas, and it's amazing because you see where there are these homes. These are what the firefighters were doing. They were able, many of the structures survived where you saw burned out areas come right down to the front line of an individual's home. Just a sparse home in the middle of a vineyard, so to speak, and yet they were able to save that. Now, obviously, in Santa Rosa, a whole different scenario. In Sonoma County, a whole different scenario. You saw a lot of burned out stuff there, but not so much in Napa. And so it was really very, very cool. So does Harlan have great wine? No, not great wine, amazing wine. And you'll see, if you open up wine list, you go to a nice restaurant, you may see a Harlan wine, and it's going to be priced there, God knows how much, $1,500, $2,500, $2,000, whatever it might be. But Promontory, which is amazing wine. Now, the cool thing about going and spending time with these guys is, in the case of a brew, we were tasting wines that basically had just, in essence, been pressed. Now, when I say pressed, I just mean just simply as a result of being in the barrel and just weight pushing it down. So we were tasting juice that was only, in one case, 4 to 6 weeks old. Truly having wine at perhaps what one might think of would be the most natural, the most pure that you are going to taste it. From that all the way back to some different library vintages. And what's cool about a brew is that they just do cabs. They just do red wines out there. But he's been experimenting with a Chardonnay. And so that was actually the first thing that we tasted. Now, I'm not much of a Chardonnay drinker, but this was a cool Chardonnay. I'd love to see him bottle that stuff. I don't know that they're ever going to do that, but I'm not a sales rep, but hey, go out to Napa, help support those guys, because they could certainly use it, and it's just simply so anyway, so there's the fire. Totally, I would have to say the way that I viewed what was going on, misrepresented for the most part out here. So that's just one of the many stories that I could share with you out there, but probably the probably the best one. Okay, so let's go back to, other than the birdie finish at Pebble Beach, that was pretty cool. That was a lot of fun. Steve Rhodes, and of course after that match, I had a brew wine to celebrate. Steve Rhodes, TFNN. We'll be right back.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender. Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. If you'd like to be the bank and get the type of interest they receive instead of the low interest rates they give to clients, then I have an investment you may want to take a look at. I'm offering 4-year secured first mortgages on buildable city lots in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment can be anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000 per buildable city lot. The interest paid is 7% per year, paid monthly. Depending on the investment, the income per month per lot ranged from $175 for a $30,000 investment to $437.50 for a $75,000 investment. If you are in the CD market, you want to look at this investment. St. Petersburg is located in Pinellas County, which is the densest county in Florida. If you're looking for an investment with your principal intact that pays a good interest rate, this may be for you. The supply is limited, so act now. For more information on these secured first mortgage opportunities, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Think or Swim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
This is David White. Stay tuned because coming up next is the Power Trading Hour right here on TFNN.
Welcome back, folks. Dow's off 58, S&P is down 5. So just kind of a summary with regard to the markets and where we're at as we speak right now. We have definite signals of potential for intermediate term top to form. Now, those signals really coming from, I got to find it here, the S&P 500 was really where we started out. And in the case of the S&P 500, yeah, this chart here is probably the best to show. In the S&P 500, what we have, you don't see it on this chart here, but this trading day of just a couple of days ago, this was on November the 8th, was a nice key reversal session with price moving higher, doing less relative energy. So that was an indication of a top price now down below Stevie's red line. And we have the spot volatility index above 1035. above its 50-day exponential moving average. Now, what this means as we speak right now as a 155 is we just simply have a retracement that is underway. So we can't really call it anything more than that, just a retracement. So short-term top that is in place. It will get going more than that when really two things happen, if two things happen. The very first thing would be to see a bearish crossover of the TAS market breadth. We do not have that just yet. If that were to occur, that would tell us that there's more price damage, price erosion to take place. The second thing that one would need to see is you'd need to see the brand new market profile that formed on a daily basis inside the ES mini 2568 failed to act as support. Otherwise, it's just retracement that's going on. Now, if 2568 were to fail, I'll give you the bearish side, then you could anticipate a move down to as low as 2478. That's 100 points inside of the ES mini. Will that happen? I don't know. We have to take this one step at a time. So that's your summary as to where the markets are as we speak right now. And that's as of 1:56 in the afternoon on fabulous, fantastic Friday. I'm going to spend the rest of this week catching up on my sleep because in Napa or on the West Coast, I was up at 4:30 a.m. each morning. But that's not a good thing. Stevie needs sleep, and I'm going to get it this week. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Magnificent Magical Monday. Take care, folks.
Larry Pezzavento and John Jameson are teaming up for a live hour-long webinar Wednesday, November 15th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time titled The Hidden Secrets Behind Trading and Investing in Cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are some of the most volatile trading markets in the world right now, and this is a webinar that you will not want to miss. In this live 60-minute webinar, John and Larry will discuss a variety of topics, including where cryptocurrencies trade and how to get started, how to recognize supply and demand in cryptocurrencies, and the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and why knowing this one piece of information puts you in the top 1% of cryptocurrency traders, as well as many more topics. Visit the front page of TFNN.com for all the information and to sign up today for Fibonacci 24/7, and we'll see you Wednesday, November 15th for the hidden secrets behind trading and investing in cryptocurrencies.